it looks like a big puzzle. Pieces were all scattered around those small blocks of limestone. Identify that groups of stones belong to the steps, to the platforms. Took them 24 years. And as soon as they used to run out of pieces, they used to stop, and they used to mention we did a good job. No more restorations. Otherwise, we're gonna be trying to talk about reconstruction. We know about the stone quarries, but we believe that faithful people, our ancestors, the ones who used to work here, they used to cut that stone. Their spirits are at the heavens. Is at the heavens. If we use new stones, that's like a bad luck, like cursed for us, you know. So that's why the archaeologists understood about that, and they used to prefer live it in that way. But it looks like before and after, because as soon as we get to the main facade, we'll have a different perspective, you know.
That's awesome, isn't it? It makes you feel like you're in a just like a secret area.
Above the doorway, on top of the stone decoration, there's like a little face, like the one that I show you, the one who lives at the bottom of the cenote with like an elephant trunk. Can you see it? Rain got both eyes, the nose, and the mouth. He's the one who lives at the bottom, and the cenote recently rediscovered. So that's why that building has been resting on top of something for us hollow, sacred wishing well. So that's why in the mouth of the well, Chichen Itza of the water magicians. Makes sense nowadays for the experts. For us, obviously, because of our legends, all the time used to make sense. Because we grew up with the legends.
Yeah, definitely.
Let me show you something new. Excavated 6 years ago.
6 years ago?
6 years ago, they dug that hole.
Oh.
They discovered that that building,
cool.
like your house, like a hotel, has been resting on top of something.
Yeah.
A foundation, stabilizing its alignment, protecting the temple against a collapse will be imminent, and not just next year.
Oh wow.
That's something super important. This hole didn't exist. With the same sonar, they discovered the cenote, drainage systems, plus a foundation. Amiga, didn't exist till 6 years ago. With the same sonar, they discovered something extra. Square foundation in which that temple has been resting, like your house, like a hotel, on top of we call them foundations, no? Stabilizing its alignment to keep showing us the same image every year and protecting the temple against a collapse. That's why that foundation, just 6 years ago, they dug this hole to give us the chance to observe why the temple remains its alignment pretty much intact. Somebody very smart understood and
that's amazing.
did what we do know as an architects, good ones, build up buildings on top of foundations.
Yeah.
Let me show you.
So it never move. It would never move.
Never move, see? And acoustic, listen to this. Here it's just teeny. I'll tell you something, that when we were little, previously we used to climb up the temple. You know why we used to love climbing up that temple sometimes 10 times. I'm our friends. We had to wait that the part used to get empty. 5 p.m. See, but the guards working here, they're our parents. They're from my town. Then they let us climb up the temple. You know why? Because either sides of the different staircases from the top floor, tourist caps and hats, you know, and they used to get full of souvenirs. But we had to practice our local ritual to mention that if you're gonna climb up that temple, super sacred for us, you have to ask for permission. How? Clap twice. When we do this in front of the main facade, we will be able to identify the difference here in between this and the one from the main facade. In front of the main facade, there's louder, more clear. For us, represent a bird that we call quetzal, endemic from Guatemala, Salvador, Honduras. Different landscape, more wildlife, and that bird is so colorful. It's a sacred bird, like phoenix bird. When you clap twice, for us represent the echo that the bird that's answer you back, and it's waiting for your wish. Our wishes were so simple. I don't want it to die today. Obviously, our parents told us that. Stand up, they just told us, you know, be careful. They used to tell us this local legend. For us was like super important. Previously, we started to climb up the temple. We had to practice. Then we used to wait that the bird answer us back. Then we used to plead for our wish. I don't want it to die today. Be careful. See, and then we used to climb up the temple with respect of so very careful.
Sure.
So the accident who used to occur like 11 years ago. Used to cause that the temple remains closed. Because all of us were able to climb out that temple.
Yeah, I remember that. I
you already been here before.
Maybe 12 or 13 years ago. And we climb.
Yeah,
see?
I climbed it
Oh, see?
years ago. Yeah, and I came down on my butt. I came down
Safest
sitting
way,
like
the
this.
safest way.
I did like a. I don't
They
know,
had a
maybe
rope
2 or
like
3.
going up
The
it.
main facade,
Yeah.
chain, and the west facade, a
It's
rope.
like a step.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That's why the accident, the investigation done by the park, because I'm already comment to you. Somebody, as a witness, used to mention to the park guard, I saw somebody push her.
Oh.
She used to sound like a bowling ball effect,
Yeah.
accident. 10 persons fell down, 4 of them passed away, including her.
Oh
the
my
lady.
God.
Investigations done by the park, they discovered that because they were taller than most of us wearing Nike shoes, the steps, because Mayans, less proteins, wildlife, they were shorter. That's
Yeah.
the reason. And the designers of that temple understood and took in count who's gonna climb up the temple. What they wear, Nikes, Reeboks, no, small sandals, no barefoot.
Yeah.
They used to build up a building with comfortable steps. Less accidents. Accidents are accidents, no, but less than. But
Yeah.
there's something else, amigos. From the bottom to the top floor of that building, specific height 28 meters. But why 28? Why not 30? Why not 25? We know why. It's not coincidence why in front of us on that staircase has 91 steps. But why 91? Taking count that we have 4 facades with 91 steps each of them. Interesting, because our solar calendar, name it Gregorian calendar in honor of the Gregorian Pope. Gregorian Pope discovered they had a problem related with the Holy Bible, Easter. Didn't start the right moment in the Vatican, there's like a calendar and the sun, illumine, Easter or like fiestas. They started to have a problem. Why? That was when they realized, because planet Earth is a little bit tilted. He used to conduct the best during that time, astronomers, mathematicians. Took them 12 years to understood things that minds already knew about it. So that's why the alignment shows a snake image. As I already explained, you plan a little bit tilted. In this case, related with the sun, that counts that we miss every year 6 hours.
Yeah.
That's the reason why, not every 3 or every 5 years, every 4 years, we add another day, called leap years, no? But why every 4 years? If we miss 6 hours every year, because of the planet a little bit tilted, related with the sun, the way how the sun illuminates our planet counts, that we miss 6 hours, quarter of a day. How many hours compose a day and night? 24 hours, no? That's why if we miss 6 hours, we have to wait for 4 years, because 4 times 6, 24 the hours or a day that we add every 4 years, leap years. Just the ones who understood how to use el cero, zero, math, astronomy, and architecture more accurate. Mesopotamic people, Chinese people, Hindu people, and Mayas from Yucatan understood about el cero, zero. Zero will make no sense if you don't know how to use it. Zero, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 till 9, no? Then what we do, we start again, we put 1, and we know that we put 10 till the infinite. Big surprise, Mayans, because they already knew and understood how to use el cero, zero. His math and astronomy used to be more accurate. Greeks and Romanos, there's no zero.
Yeah.
That's why it's not the tallest, it's not the oldest one, nicest one, from Mexico, South America. But since the year 2007, used to be considered one of the 7 new wonders of the world, math and astronomy. See, that's why 91 steps times 4, 364 like seasons. Seasons, 4 seasons, 91 days. Plus the top floor, 4 sizes, each of them. Can you see how the very top floor, at the stone roof, so at the very top of the stone roof, there's like a letter G sticking up.
Yeah.
Well, there were 5 of them on each of the 4 sizes. You know why they used to represent 5 sections, 4 sections of all of us, fingers, toes. How many of them do we should have 5? There were 5 on each side. That's why numeral system of our ancestors, system of tens, decimal, the decimal based on us. Like abacus, I don't know how to call it in English, see? But how how 0 used to make sense? How many fingers do we have? 5. How many? No fingers. That's the shape to represent 0. Mine hieroglyphics. Number 1, it's a finger, a little dot. Number 2, 2 dots, based on 2 fingers, till 4. Number 5, a bar, representing a hand in this way, with 5 fingers. If you put on top of a bar another dot, it's another finger, 6 fingers, till 4. And 4 dots, 9. 10 5 and 5, two on top of another, two lines, representing two hands of 5 and 5. Then 11 till 14. Then 15, 5, 5 and 5. 3 bars. Then on top of 3 bars, 4 fingers, 4 dots, 19. Then remember that this is 0. On top of 0, a finger or a dot on top of it, 20. That's why these people were more accurate, talking about math, astronomy, and architecture.
No computer, no internet.
No.
Yeah, it's just
no
it's
studies,
crazy.
no university.
Blows my mind.
It's
I mean,
unbelievable.
that part, you know, I
gosh.
mean, in my case, how? Okay, time. See, time. They had time. But why they had time? No natural resources in Yucatan. You know what that used to represent? Equal to less problems. Gold, silver, oil, equal to problems among countries. But in Yucatan, there's nothing more there than here or here than there. What is equal everywhere, the weather. What they all should be doing from March to September, growing the land. They were busy. The ones who wanted and they had the chance, did the observation, did something like simple, just like this. Do you know what that used to obtain? Knowledge. Understood about, you know, constellations. Next day, you know, next year when the same group of stars go back to the same spot, they already write it on what kind of weather, where the sun, you know, equinoxes, solstices. But they had time. You know how many time or years did they took them to build up that temple, design that temple? 200 years.
200?
3 generations.
Wow.
60, 50, the best average life in Yucatan. Why? Less problem, less stress who affect our system. Like this one, they were hundreds of them everywhere. We call them path holes, you know, to capture rainwater. There's no floods in Chichen Itza. Daily we're having storms at the afternoon. See them? There's evidences that used to be, it's like, but there's no floods in Chichen Itza because when we have a storm or like a hurricane, the water disappears, gets to the underground canals and Chichen Itza. I wanted to show you carvings about like pictures. I'm a Mayan typist. Shows Mexican Indians what they used to wear to understand a little better, you know, about the architecture of that temple. Please,
Which one? Yeah, I just saw it. It's gonna rain.
most of the columns, amigos, are round. And they're consistent
This
sections.
is beautiful.
Among 60 stone quarries.
I kinda remember this.
Relatively, in which we're completely sure that the stones came from that cave. You know why? We can see tracks because they were rolling down. See, from there to here, just 2 guys were in charge of like the transportation. Instead of like 100 of them trying to transport a heavy, just a single heavy column. You know, sections. You know what they did? What the insects, like ants, big leaves to them, cut it down on sections. Then we see them how they easier to them. But that used to implicate another little problem: invention of concrete. Not just Greeks or Romanos knew about concrete. Mayans also knew and had, you know, storms. Hits, you know, rubber trees, among the other ones. Starts like a fire with the water, limestone, the sap of that tree, 2 stones. Next day, appears, you know, sticks the stone together forever. That's how these people understood concept, how to work or improve what we call nowadays concrete. Por favor, please come this way. I wanted to show you. I don't want to stop at the shade. Shows the square pillars. We use them to carve
I can
and
see
did
the
their best
pictures
work of
on 'em.
art. From the bottom to the top, the first section of the second block has like a line at the center. It's there where we can see both legs, short legs, wearing sandalias. First, second, third, fourth, the 5th block from the bottom to the top. It's where we can see on profile a face. Towards the north, wearing a headdress. No gold, no silver, no diamonds. No. That used to represent nothing for our ancestors. Why? Quetzales, we don't have them in Yucatan. There's no colorful food here. That's why we have just little black ones. Birds, you know. The feathers were not long enough to be able to decorate a headdress. They had to visit Guatemala, but big surprise, they had people over there control of feathers, you know, used to represent a lot of money nowadays, no? But they had to follow them, the Quetzales, and wait that the Quetzal die. Sometimes they had to spend 10 years in the jungle following the Quetzales. Somebody had to pay for it. And then they had to wait that they wanted to visit Chichen Itza and that they wanted to please for super special favor. That's why that used to be the main chapel. They let them climb out that temple they used to please for a favor, and a statue that we call chacmol. Yeah, as soon as we get a little farther, we're gonna be able to observe that statue. Use it in the movie Apocalypto by Mel Gibson to put the human hearts. They used to be the deliverers of your wishes or spirits from here to the heavens, to our gods, They used to offer feathers. But we have a carving in which we can see somebody wearing a headdress. He used to be not just rich, super knowledgeable. Super knowledgeable used to represent, be well connected with our gods. All what they used to promise occurs. For instance, rainy season, they have to wait like a week to no, next day. It's the weather. We don't know for sure how they knew about that, when. That's why it seems like that they were able to observe from the heavens our planet Earth. Come and let me show you about this. How that temple used to look like. Different things we have, but 60 years ago, archaeologists thought that used to be that they were warriors, but they were not wearing weapons. There were no helmets. They were wearing, extravagant, even, like nice customs. But the columns, as we can see, they used to be supporting a stone roof. Even columns and couple walls, they used to be supporting a stone roof, as we can see it here. Pilgrims, remember, used to be the main chapel, but they used to pay for a shelter. Which aspect, they did what you're gonna do today when you don't explain Yucatan. You're not gonna go back today to your house. Most of the time, you have to go back to your hotel. Nothing is free. That comes, represent for us business, no?
Yeah.
Dinero, money nowadays. Back in time, instead of us, our ancestors had to walk to obtain obsidian, feathers. No, used to be super dangerous. Walk back, transporting obsidian or feathers. Somebody might kill you because, used to be more than nowadays gold for us. Nighttime, practicing, the ones who came in to practice ceremonies here, please for favors, twice per year, equinoxes. They used to spend or used to remain Chichen Itza like a week or 2 weeks open. Nighttime, the ones who came from far away, they did what you're gonna do today. They used to, like 5 days here waiting in order to, they were able to climb out that temple because there were people waiting on long lines to climb up and please for a favor, then pay for it or something like that.
Yeah.
High priests, they used to build up a complex in which they were able to overnight, like a shelter or hotels we call them nowadays. But also they ate, they drank water. Behind that long corridor of columns, trees, jungle growing over more or less behind. See, that used to be the food court, marketplace. They did business there, toilet sections, not around the main temple. Around the main temple, they need any single space in order to have pilgrims. High priest from the top floor, thanks to the stone wall. When they spoke from the top floor, his voice used to hit the stone wall, bounces back, amplified. That's why the acoustic in reality, when we collapse in front of the main temple. See, I will show it to you. When we collapse in front of the main facade, because it looks different, was for complete well restored, the acoustic, it's like the bird that I mentioned to you.
Cool.
In the movie Apocalypto, Mel Gibson shows that building. It's a new building for us, built up by the time when the Aztecas, people from the city of Mexico, used to conquer the Mayas. Inside of that building, that's why it has like a little doorway at the profile. There's a little room in which they used to identify elements like little pottery things and remains inside of like peyote, mushrooms. See, apparently previously they were sacrificed them. They gave them equal to before an operation, doctors, anesthesia, to help us, not to kill us from pain. We understood why the legends mention that none of them cry or scream in front of the crowds, as Mel Gibson shows on his movie. They were sacrificing there. What a sacrifice used to represent. Separate from your body, your spirit, living in your heart, in order to send you, in order to talk with our gods. But you should be the best among the normal people. Normal people. It's interesting because we identify that they did what suicide bombers or kamikaze Second World War. They thought in that way. Why? Because a bad system created by bad leaders, manipulating holy information, they make them believe in something that they don't believe. That's why they never participate in some of those attacks. They just use them, using his fate. But they prepared them since they will lead us not from one day to another. I want you to live forever. When a suicide bomber, commit his attack, I don't understand them. But then we just I mean, review like, and then it's all about, you know.
And these guys, what they are doing, Montanians?
Cleansing the like grass or like in that corner in the wall. You can see like green sections. That's what they're cleansing up. Like pros and cons that the sun's time to fall in pieces. Let me show you the acoustics, please. It will be a little shower. Shower.
It's coming.
That's what we call our great rainy season. Rains, you know, 5 minutes. But showers, you know, and that's it. But at least on a place where there's no rivers, super important. We have to plant then crops, you know, corn, black beans, pumpkin, sweet potatoes, just for crops. That's what we plant. The soil, it's not such fertile. That's why. The antenna, that's a new one. NASA, couple weeks ago, used to replace that one.
Oh, really?
For an old one. And the antennas, you know, because of COVID, this one, we were not able to spend that day inside. We had to turn off our TV, so on our phones we're able to observe things to a satellite, you know, using internet to show us how the planet's spinning. That's why this image seems like that it's alive. And on an antenna over there, it has a camera who shows.
Oh, really?
All the snakehead seems like that. It's like.
So nobody was here during the equinox and COVID?
March 21st, September 22nd, we spend the whole day here.
Okay.
It gets super crowded.
Oh, I know.
Super.
Wow.
Por favor, come this way, please.
The rest of the building
He's parado seguido hacia
there from 11
Yeah, I hear it.
different here. That should be twice, and I mean, because I'm a native guy. Most of the other ones, well, they have to travel from somewhere far away. But in my case, because I grew up here, we grew up without local. There's a documentary by History Channel. To show somebody clapping. Shows Quetzal bird, you know. Si tú lo checas en internet, inmediatamente 5 minutes last. Show you somebody doing this. Then those guys used to visit Guatemala and they used to follow a Quetzal bird. They used to record it, you know. Then they used to compare it. Let's say equal.
Really?
But when somebody spoke from the top floor, unbelievable.
What is that is on the top?
Which one?
Como la antena que está arriba.
Hace 2 semanas se reemplazó para tener el control de un sector.
I don't mind this either. You guys are a lot better at it.
Se mueve y la otra antena allá, mira, se ve la antena con la cámara.
Like it's raining over behind the temple, but not here.
Come on, let me show you where the snake image appears, please.
Oh, you hear it? You hear their echo? You hear it? I hear it.
Concerts were done here because of that echo.
Yeah, I hear it.
The first one, Luciano Pavarotti, 30 years ago. Somebody local like me used to mention what I told you about the bird, you know.
He's sitting here.
So that's how you go from one level to the other level.
As I comment to you, among our friends, we used to climb up the temple to collect the caps and hats. We used to start climbing up that temple. Previously, we used to clap twice, waiting to put hands on goes back. Then we had a problem. We had from the top floor jump. But no, looks like that. No, that's why. See it sticking up in between two platforms, 3 stones. We have to, as a brother, that
crazy.
temple, like your house needs to be like maintained, inclusive, you know, like later. It's good. Muchas gracias. And
Take somebody else.
4 o'clock in the afternoon, in between the 2 antennas, this one will be the one in which the sun will be setting behind that antenna. The sun setting behind that antenna, shows in March and in September. The temple gets well aligned with the sun. That's why the platform, like my fingers right now, the sun is passing through. I know that's the shadow puppets, but something equal to sun will meters. 5 minutes later, the second one. 7 of them from the bottom to the top. They will be recreating something that our legends mentioned that visit us because of the weather change. After 40 minutes, the snakehead will also remains. Will start to get lined up little by little. Close all those
So
7.
that's the
snake.
head of the snake.
Snakehead. From wherever from there,
Cool.
where you can see that wall, that snakehead, you will be able to understand what we're not guessing. We're in front of a building who shows something. At the age of 6 years, I still remember that day. That was when I finally and obviously I grew up since I was a child. We all used to observe how our parents stand to organize fiestas, sacrificing pigs, turkeys, because next day we used to spend the whole day here, and at the afternoon in the downtown's fiestas, music. That used to be the last fiesta, biggest fiesta in the towns from Yucatan, because then we used to wait for a week, and then we used to spend the whole day in the forest, cleansing up, then waiting that the rain
is coming.
and then we stand to plan. Obviously, we have just raccoons in Yucatan. Now we have to take care of them because you know what?
Yeah, they are like.
So the snake, the sun that lights up the snake goes along this wall right here, right? Yeah.
But it's because the sun, the angle will be, and we hit in this way the building.
Yeah.
So that's why to be able to align that temple, see, and makes possible that the snake image looks like that it's alive.
So
they had to understood about things that were
So
Which one
awesome.
is the front over there?
That's the front.
That's the front.
Well, you know why? Rainy season starts first little shower March 21st, Gulf of Mexico. You know what caused that?
Oh yeah.
It's the planet returning, getting close to the sun, the North Pole. You know what that causes? It's time to melt the ice. And that crossed the Gulf of Mexico and affect us in a good way. First little showers at the beginning.
Yeah.
We call them against cyclones because it's called like wind, the hot wind who causes them cyclones. So it's like against them. That's why it's good luck for us also. That's why that facade is facing precisely towards that kind of point. And why a snake? Among few wildlife that we have in Yucatan animals, they used to designate a snake. Who knows why? In Yucatan, because we have 2 seasons, we realize and we observe how in the jungle 2 or 3 more than the normal skins, rattlesnake skins, they shed their skin.
Oh right. Yeah.
Previously weather start changing. They're already well adapted to this weather. Hot and hotter, 2 seasons, not 4.
Hot and hotter. Yeah.
Because too rocky, like Arizona, Diamondbacks,
Yeah.
they love Yucatan and they already get used to this weather. A week previously, weather start changing from one day to another. Our ancestors, they used to observe first generation, second generation, third generation were completely sure, when the snake shed the skin, we stand to plant, weather change, the soil gets fertile. The snake fertilized the soil. Why? Shed the skin like a holy signal. That's why instead of another animal, like a raccoon, like an iguana, no, a snake image. But just imagine what that used to represent. Design a building in order to be able to capture a snake, represent a snake. The snake is sacred. See, and then that the snake looks like that it's alive. The snake lives in the heavens. That's why, listen this. Kukulkan. Kukul means feathers. And snake, feathered serpent. Something with feathers normally can fly. That's how precisely that temple shows something using it, flying back from heaven to the earth, so in order to fertilize the soil. That's why Kukulkan's temple, flying snake temple.
Wow.
No problem. Take your time.
Please come this way, another angle for good pictures too.
Incredible.
Because we already saw the other 2 facades. Doesn't look like these ones, but from there, this angle, because of the snake heads and the illumination, at least for the moment, the best one. In between both chapels, local people from Yucatan came to place for water, for good soil. There were all good crops. What they used to plant corn, black beans, pumpkins, found from the top of both buildings, fragments of like corn, black beans. After they done, they place for salting. They used to offer what they used to plant. Just that one, super important chapel, designated for the ones who came from far away. They came in order to please for different favors. Why? They came from places where they had